yeah, let it be.
All right, welcome back to another startup vlog. Week number 18, I think it is. 17, 18, something like that. Anyways, I got a new computer case. I don't know if I even showed the last one, but this is just a Corsair one. And it, it's sick with all the windows around it. But the reason I got it was because I got a new SSD. Well, I had a hard drive before this, so I finally got an SSD. And it took me, I got this back in like the beginning of September. It took me that long to swap it out because I just dread everything with computers. Like, I built it when I first got it. Swapped out the processor once in 2018. Like, maybe replaced the CPU fan, added a fan. But like, putting in an SSD, like, my friend tried it. He said he lost all of his data on the hard drive, and then there was a cable I was missing, so I had to buy the cable, and I just really didn't want to mess with it because I know everything I do with computers is like a full day thing. So I did probably the worst thing you could do and got a brand new case. And because mine was just so outdated, and I just kind of like the look of this one. I still have to clean up all the wires. Like, the wires are absolutely horrendous, but basically now everything's running perfectly fine on the SSD. I didn't lose any files. I have the hard drive in there as well as backup, but I'm having a problem with, like, I can't access my user folder. Like, the thing is permissions. I updated the permissions, but I think it takes a long time for it to switch. But it's been like 20 minutes and it's still not letting me in. So I'm gonna leave it today, or leave it for a bit today, and see if it works later. Hopefully it does, because I want to try to get all of my the VS Code stuff. Like, I had so many extensions, I don't want to go back in and download them all again and things like that. But so next I'm just gonna work on the notes to quizzes, and I think this is a good layout to have. Basically, when there's gonna be somewhere on the top right of the note page where you can click like create review quiz or something. Then it will take you to here where you can generate the quiz, and this is kind of the page of what it'll look like, and you can do fill in the blanks or multiple choice. And I have that set up on the front end at least, but like I said, it's been like stuck at this loading thing for like 20 minutes. So I'm starting to think that it's just not gonna work. But when it does, I will show you guys the live version, and hopefully tonight I can get that set up so that, or not, I won't finish it tonight. I doubt I'll finish it tonight, but at least make a decent progress on it. But yeah, the speed at which this thing turns on and off. If you don't, I know I'm late to the game. I know everyone has an SSD. I just didn't, because like I said before, I didn't want to get into it. But the fact that this thing you can shut this thing down and turn it on, and it will be booted up in like 10 seconds. Like, if you're used to a hard drive, you're used to that taking like 5 minutes to just shut down and boot up. Like, it's crazy the difference that this makes already, and I still haven't even really tested it out with all the programs. So like, even that will make like night and day difference with having that on the SSD. So yeah, if you don't have an SSD for whatever reason, if you're like me, you don't have one, get one. It's a game changer, and they're not even that expensive. Like, I swear when I first built the computer, they were like $200. I got this one for like $80. So like, for 1 terabyte too. So anyways, time to start this work day, and I'll see you guys later today. Yeah. All right, so this is where the button is up here. I still don't know if I want to keep this like that, because if like the more AI stuff, the buttons just would keep growing. So I want to clean that up a bit. But anyways, right now it's just that button there. You click generate. Now I still need to have the page. Everything works on the front end. I just need to get it set up with OpenAI's API now. But I still have to make it so that it lets you, like, it shows a button and then you can generate the quiz. But yeah, right now you can go through, pick whatever, type in an answer. There's hints too if you need a hint. See the hint, and then check answers, and then you get the responses. I was gonna save the responses and then you can go back, but like, if it's just for testing your knowledge, like, I don't know, like, if saving the responses would be that necessary. Plus you can always just click check answers. Like, it's not like it's a real quiz, right? So you don't really need to save the submissions. It's like more so just a tool to use for your own benefit. So I don't think it makes really that much sense to save the submissions. So yeah, that's what that's looking like right now. So I think tonight I'm gonna try to get the generation up. I can pretty much probably get it done tonight because all I need to do now is just get it to generate, and then once it generates, it's done since all like the front end stuff's already done. So yeah, hopefully I can wrap that up. But yeah, I'll give you guys an update if I make progress on that. All right, got the quiz working pretty well already. I want to do some tweaks just for there's some things I missed, like setting a word limit before calling the edge function and things like that. But other than that, it's working quite well. All it is it's just these edge functions are crazy once you can get the hang of it. But I'm using function calling for this now. So I guess you just set your schema, and it's supposed to like consistently give you what you need, because where I'm generating questions, it gets a little complicated with multiple choice questions and then fill in the blank, and then like it's either or, so it kind of needs to be a hard set schema, which makes the most sense for this. But just as an example to show you, so I just generated these notes from the book Reality Transurfing. There's a button up here, generate quiz, then generate questions. I might clean up that last page, it's kind of a little bit bland, but so it's generating them, and it takes a little bit longer than I'd like, but it is what it is. Eventually they'll load up. And then, okay, so here they are. And then, yeah, you can just see, fill in the blank questions. You can go in, whatever, answer them, and then check your answers. And that's it so far. I might maybe expand on this and have somewhere where you can like regenerate new ones, and maybe even feed in to the regeneration query, feed in the current question so you don't get asked the same questions, just something like that. But I think this is a good starting point. We can just go from there, build off of it, get the feedback and build off of it from there. So anyways, I got an early wake up tomorrow, so instead of just before 8, so I'm gonna get ready for bed and probably read for a bit, and then yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, welcome back, guys. Just wrapped up a run. My third run ever. Went pretty well. It's crazy how hard it is when you're first starting out. Like, it's crazy, but it feels good. Like, that runner's high is really no joke. Like, it actually does boost your spirits quite a bit. But also, just wanted to rant about something quick. If you have an opportunity to work at an agency or anywhere where they track your time, don't do it. Like, honestly, like, I think freelancing is different because you get to set your own rate, and you can still do hourly, but like you can choose how you pretty much structure your payments. But for me, like at the job I have now, you have to track everything down to like 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, and it's like per the ticket, and then you have like a max time. So it's like not even like, okay, you can just track as many times as you want. It's like you have a set amount of time, then if you go over the time, you have to ask one of the project managers for more time. But it's like development is so non-linear. Like, how are you gonna put a box number on that? That's just an estimate. Like, and it just adds unnecessary pressure. And honestly, I think that's why it's contributing a lot to my like distaste for coding in general, honestly. Like, on one hand, it's like, oh, I just want another job, but then because of this job, I'm almost thinking, do I even like coding enough? Because honestly, doing this job like every single day, it is like, it's not like what I really want to do, but it's making me question if I even like coding. So I think it's just the whole structure of it, having to track your time. Like, I understand deadlines, like deadlines obviously make perfect sense, but to track and put like a box, an estimate over like each ticket, it's just unnecessary pressure. Like, let me develop on my own time. Like, I'm gonna have to learn things, and to put a cap on this is how many hours you need to do it in, it's just an unnecessary stress. Like, you shouldn't have to deal with that. So yeah, that's kind of what was going on in my mind today. I think that's what stresses me out the most, is just the whole dynamic of everything. So yeah, if you can avoid it, definitely try to avoid that, because it's not even like there's another like thing another bucket of time I could use for like tracking miscellaneous. Like, for example, say if you have a meeting at 10:30 and you run at a time, or you finish the task at like 10, I'm not going to be able to focus between switching tasks from 10 to 10:30 before the meeting. I'm not going to get any quality work done. And then it's like, where do you log that time? So then it just gets all messed up. Then you don't get paid for certain things. And it's just a terrible, honestly, I understand, billable hours, you got to do what you have to do, but the way to put max time on a task, the worst thing you can do, honestly. But anyways, that's enough rant for that. All right, guys. So we got the quiz generations now live. I just pushed it last night. Probably might run into some issues with it, but I think for the most part, it's pretty solid. So gotta be honest, the past probably like month, maybe even longer, I've been losing a lot of motivation and excitement towards this project. And part of it's because, not seeing the results, and then the other part is just piggybacking off of what I said in the last video where, time to pivot and everything. And there's a little bit there's some other factors as well going into it, but I think obviously there's a time where you're going to lose motivation, and you can still you should push through and see it through. But I think there's a line between when you still have faith that this is going to work out, and when you lose that, you're pretty much doomed. And I think the odds are already stacked against you as a solo developer, that you almost need to have that passion even behind that initial motivation. And once that dwindles, it's important to obviously keep going, but if you don't have that, it's very hard to keep going. And I found recently, just like I talked about a lot in the last video, how I think my mind was all over the place, and even like developing new features, I was almost just trying to do it just to get it over with and have something else out there. Like I wasn't really even enjoying the process anymore. And that's when it hit me where if I'm not even enjoying the whole process of this, and I'm almost feeling like I'm just rushing it, like what's the point of doing it at all? So I came to the conclusion that I think I just need to take a break from it. Like I don't want to completely write it off yet. Like I'm going to still think about it, still kind of maybe do some small things here and there. But for now, I think it's a great opportunity to take just a small break from it, switch on to another project, which I talked about probably a few months ago, just because I had the problem of not having a good feature platform that was keeping people engaged, and I moved it to another platform and it still wasn't that great. So I want to just build my own, and this is going to be a side tangent. I don't want to think of it as a complete transition, because my goal is to use this for Notably still, so I don't want to give up Notably completely. But I just think my mind just needs a break, just to kind of take a step back and kind of think what I want to do next. And so I'm just going to build this thing for myself just to use it. And basically that's probably what I'm going to be documenting now for the next, it probably won't take me that long to finish, because it's a relatively simple app, but then at least I can use that for every single product going forward in the future, and just to get my mind off of this. Honestly, I'm the reason I was kind of hesitant is because I don't want to be giving up too soon or anything like that. But it's been 6-7 months, and I think once you lose that passion, you're gonna lose the excitement. But when you lose the passion, that's the hardest thing to rekindle, and like I said, the odds are already against you, so it makes it so much harder on yourself. I think a big problem was not only I wasn't really sure what core problem it was solving, but I was also I can't even use it because I'm not a student, so there was kind of that lack of connection or that disconnect there. So anyways, I had this idea of a feature platform where it's not just a feature platform, because I think there's already so many feature platforms out there, and I don't think that it should be pretty much no one really needs another feature platform, So first I wanted to make it just for myself to use it. And that's going to be the number one goal, just so I can use it. But I had an idea to combine and kind of make it more than just a regular feature platform, right? So the idea I got it from, and it kind of sucks because, so there's this app called Cortex, right? And it's a note-taking app, but you might recognize this landing page here. It's Circle. So Circle is a community platform. You can have paid communities or just regular communities, courses. You can just have that pretty much and connect it to your custom domains here, Cortex. So this isn't Cortex. This is just Cortex's community page. So they just recently switched to Discord because they ran into a problem that initiated my thought for this idea. So they used this, right, for their community. They had like a really active community about just talking about the product. They had people asking questions, feature requests as forum blog posts. And they had a bunch of discussions where even comments could get lost that were feature requests. And then they'd be like, oh, good point. Let me add that to the developer team. But then in their feature requests, it's pointing to Canny. So this is just their Canny feature request board. And these are just the manually added or, whatever integrations they have for the feature requests. But it's separate from the community. So I wanted to combine the two, pretty much Circle plus Canny, combine the two. And even when you think of Discord groups where you'll be having, a chat board, right? Like think of a chat channel. Instead of having to manually go up and read all the chats and see which ones are crucial for feature requests, I'm thinking to combine the two, you have your community as the one thing, and basically it's like a forum-based feedback platform where the idea is to encourage user engagement, but anything that gets tagged as feature requests or bugs or whatever will automatically get added to your work board. So I'll show you what I mean to break it down a little bit more. This is kind of just some rough sketches of what I was working on next, or just designing kind of like the homepage. Basically, similar color scheme as Notably, but it's going to be customizable because if it's for other brands or other companies, you're going to have to make it customizable. But basically, the whole purpose of this is you have your feed of all of what's going on across all your boards. I'm calling them spaces. It's a pretty common name, but the name of what I'm calling it's called Echo Space, so kind of makes sense. But then you can pretty much create, pin certain ones. This could be announcements, just different kind of forums, right? And if you think about it like Reddit, you'd have each one would be like almost like a subcategory, and you can go in here and create any posts. The whole idea is to foster a community behind your product, and then anything that's tagged feature request or bugs, you can choose what you want to get forwarded will get added to the roadmap. So you're not really chasing down anything, and it just automatically gets submitted in here. And an idea that I think is going to be a problem that I'm going to run into is, and it's the reason why Cortex, they switched to Discord, right? And one of the reasons they switched to Discord was because they didn't want to spam people with emails, and Discord's a more widely adopted app, so they're more likely to be more active in communities like that. So that's where, it's a valid question of, okay, well, why would somebody, as a user, right, want to use this app over Discord or something they're more familiar with, like Slack, WhatsApp, things like that? And it is a very good question, something I'm still kind of thinking about. I think integrations will kind of help make that more fluid, where you can use either or, like whatever works best. But I'm thinking from a user standpoint, let's say this is Notably's board, right? And I'm just like a user of Notably. I think instead of just boring old feature requests, I think the goal should be striving for community engagement, discussions, whatever. And then the key with that is there needs to be something that keeps users to come back. And I'm still fleshing out ideas exactly what that's going to be, but I think having something, and I don't have anything to showcase this yet, but I think having something where each user that signs up has a profile, and pretty much, because for Canny, all these other feature request apps, you're not really, you feel like you're kind of a part of the process because you can submit feature requests, but there's not really any recollection of what you actually contributed to. So I was thinking it'd be nice to have in like the user profile somewhere where you can see all of your feature requests that actually are completed, like what you've contributed to. Like on your profile would be like your contributions where you requested this one, it got pushed through, and you can see for all the apps or whatever what you've actually, it just makes you feel more a part of the community. And another goal too with this is, obviously I'm just making this just for myself. I do want to keep it open-ended for other people to use it as well, but I think keeping that lower price point, kind of focusing towards solo developers and smaller teams where you don't need a whole lot of these features that Circle has, that Canny has, like just the basic stuff for like, it's like much cheaper. That's actually affordable. I think feature based honestly is a really great app, but like I said, I think it was like in Canadian almost $100 a month, which is, if you're just getting started, that's a lot of money to stomach right off the bat. So, and I think a lot of the ones that the feature apps that I ran into, not only are they not really forum based, but they're also just like not like, I just didn't like them. And you know, I'm saying all this as if like this could just as likely, you know, not work out, but I want to just, for one, give myself a mind space break from Notably, move on to something else where this is a whole new tech stack. It's going to be Next.js. I'm using kind auth for it. I'm using TypeScript too. I'm using Supabase still, but TypeScript I haven't really used that much, so I'm using that for it as well. So not only will I get the break from Notably, but I'm also going to be learning a completely new tech stack, which is going to be pretty exciting for me. And I just want to make it for myself to use for future projects for Notably, like just have this so that I can always have this to use. Maybe it's a bad decision to get distracted, but I think right now I need to kind of take a step away from I just need to dive into something else and kind of recollect my thoughts. But what I'm still trying to figure out and what I want to get right with this is to make it most engaging for users to actually want to participate in. And almost you're fostering a community, like building the community first and feature requests are separate, right? Like this is kind of something that I really want to focus on. And for myself included with Notably, I think one of the problems I had was being in clear contact or consistent contact with users that isn't just Discord, right? And it's something that is still linked with the feature requests, and kind of have that community engagement with feature requests all in one that's simple enough for solo developers or small teams to use, that isn't going to cost $1 million, you know? So there's a lot of other ideas I have with it too, but I just want to keep it super simple to start with and just so I can use it for myself. That's it. And I think a lot of the updates going forward will now be catered towards this. But like I said, I don't want to completely stop Notably. That's just going to be just taking a step back. So pretty much what I've been doing right now is just very beginning stages, designing all the kind of main pages and getting the authentication set up with Kind, which I have to integrate with Supabase. So that'll be pretty interesting to get set up. Luckily, I found this video. It's also a multi-tenant app, 11 hours tutorial using pretty much the exact same stack that I'd be using. So this will probably help me with quite a bit of it and at least give me some ideas for when I'm developing it. So yeah, anyways, I think I might end the video there. This was probably another long one. But anyways, I appreciate you guys watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week.